Hello, and welcome to my devotional for today. It is Friday, and soon for my family, our tradition is to have pizza on Friday night. So looking forward to that. Uh, Hope you're going to have a good weekend ahead of you. Let's do our devotional. We're in Proverbs chapter 7, verse 12, and we're working our way through this little story. What has happened in the proverb is the proverb takes the position of a father teaching a son about being careful in a certain area of life. And of course, it's the image is meant to be God teaching us, but it's put in this way of this father says to his son, "Be careful, learn my teaching; it'll keep you safe." And then he tells us a little story of one of the dangers he's been warning him about. And he says about this. So here's the story. He says, I looked out through my window. There was a young man among all the young men of the city. There was this young man who had no sense. And he went off into the night, and he went into the later night, and he went looking. And went to this place where he would meet this woman, and then she comes out to meet him, and she's dressed, like a prostitute, and she's boisterous and loud and seductive and all this stuff. And then he warns that this young man goes with her to her house. They have an affair. She's married. Her husband isn't home, but he comes home, and then the young man ends up dead, or well, possibly dead. That's the story. So it's a cautionary tale, right? Like, be careful. My teachings will keep you from this kind of a situation. And so that's the general story. We're in verse 12, in the middle of that. So we'll just read the verse, and we're going to focus on this verse today. So it's in the middle of describing this woman that he goes to see, and it says this: she is now in the streets, now in the squares, and lurks by every corner. So he's building this scene, right? Like this young man's gone off looking for her, and she comes out to meet him, and she's there. She's now in the streets, she's now in the squares, and lurks by every corner. Is painting a picture of what kind of a woman this woman is, and saying basically that she's out on the hunt. She's looking around for someone like this young man. She's looking to have the affair, and so she's hunting for him, lurking and searching the streets and the squares at every corner. That's the idea. Now, before we examine what this might teach us, I want to make sure we understand this. What this isn't teaching us is that, you know, something like, oh, well, women can't be trusted, or there's these adulterous women that are out there hunting for young men, because that's not what the proverb is saying. What the proverb is saying is there is a woman like this, and there is a young man like this, because remember, it described him as out in the night, going into the dark nights, going to her street, going to where he knows he's going to find her. So he's also out hunting and searching and looking. And so what happens here is we have these two people. We have the young man going out and doing this. We have the young woman going out and doing this until they finally find each other. And then they do something sinful and wrong. And that's the idea here, is painting a picture of both people. And I think what we can learn from this is this idea that, well, I had a friend who used to say, he was a psychologist, and he used to say, water finds its own level. And he would talk about young people, because he dealt with a lot with young people, about how young people, sometimes some young people will get into this habit of looking for people like them that want the same things. And this is what we all do, right? We all look for people to have companions in our life, that are kind of like us and that want the same thing as us. And so we search these people out, and then we make friendships, and we have companions, and we do the things we like. And that's normal. So water finds its own level. It doesn't go uphill. It doesn't go downhill. It looks for it levels out. That's the idea. And I think that's kind of what this proverb is teaching, is that, if you want to get into trouble, if you're looking to do something wrong, there's always going to be someone else out there who's quite willing to do it too. And you can make a community around everything. You can make a friendship base around any kind of activity, good or evil. And with social media that we have today and the internet, finding a group of people who want to do the same thing you do is not hard. That's just the way the world is. And the lesson is, be careful about doing this. Like, when you're looking to join a community, or you're looking to make friends with people and to have companions in your life who are going to share your life with you, think about what it is you're going to base that companionship on, or what's the point of that community you're entering into. What are they about? Because whatever they're about, that's what you're going to end up doing. And they're going to encourage one another to do that thing. So when you're looking for friends in your life, and I say this especially to young people, because friends are so important in young people's lives, and I get that, but especially to young people, like when you're looking for people, you're like, okay, I want to make a friend, a companion for life, somebody that I'll have a friendship with, or I want to be part of this community. Are you looking for people that share an interest in being a good person? Is that part of what the community is about? If not, okay, like I just want to join a chess club. Well, okay, this is not about being a good person or not, sort of. But then, the people there are still they're people, and so you ask yourself, what is that? Is that all part of this community's culture? Like they want to be good people. They want to be people that play chess by the rules, or what? Like whatever it is. Do they share a moral code that's godly, or do they share a moral code that's kind of ideological or kind of based on some humanistic view of life? Or are they getting their moral code from God? And that's a good question to ask if you're a believer and you want to have a good community to be part of. That's something to think about, because whatever you're sharing with these people, you're going to end up looking for the same thing. So, do they challenge you? Here's a really good one. Does your friend that you want to make challenge you to be a better person? Or do they just celebrate you being whatever you are? And, sometimes it's nice just to have people who say nice things about you. That's great. But sometimes you kind of need people in your life that are going to be like, yeah, but let's be better. Let's be more. And, do they encourage you to make hard decisions, or do they just encourage you to make easy decisions? Things like that. Do they celebrate your character, or do they celebrate something else? And so this is just things to think about. Who are you hunting for in your life? I guess that's the question. Who are you hunting for in your life? We're all hunting for friends. We're all hunting to be part of a community. Well, who are you hunting for? In this story, there's these two young people hunting each other because they wanted to have an affair, and it was wrong. It was a wrong basis for their relationship, and they were doing all the wrong things. And so in your life, don't make that mistake. And that's what the proverb is saying. Don't make that mistake. Choose to seek out and spend time with people who are on the right path as well. And then you will encourage them, and they will encourage you on the right path. So to end this, sort of come to the end of this, I want to just draw this to the idea of Christian community. I really want to encourage everyone listening to be part of a good, strong Christian community. Not just a community of people that say they're Christians, but that really are focused on being Christians, following Christ. And if you do that, you're going to find that you can encourage one another in the journey toward Christ and being like Christ. And so I would encourage you to really look for those kind of companions and that kind of community. A little caution. I'm not saying that we should never have friends who are lower on the moral scale than us. We want to encourage them up, but be careful that they don't drag you down. Water finds its own level. Be careful. Like if you do have these friends, at least make sure you're the influencer. but even more so, make sure you have a friend group and a community group around you who are seeking God the same as you are, and you will have a good chance of getting where you need to go, because you'll have them encouraging you and you'll be encouraging them. Anyway, that's the thought today. God bless us as we try this, and God willing, we'll be back on Tuesday for verse 13. And over the weekend, we have a great weekend. Our teaching is available to you, of course, here on Sunday, or if not, then I encourage you to find a Christian community to be part of on Sunday and just go visit with that group and worship the Lord together. At any rate, God bless you wherever you find yourself. We'll see you next time.